Gentlemen, if you're over 60 and struggling to stay firm at night, let me be very direct with you. That glass of plain water you've been drinking before bed, the one you thought was harmless, may actually be one of the reasons your erections are fading. Instead of helping, it may be draining your hormones, interrupting your sleep, and leaving you weaker in the very moments when your body should be strong. I know that sounds shocking. Most of your life you've been told, drink more water, it's good for you. And yes, hydration matters. But what nobody explained is that timing matters just as much. That last glass before bed can overfill your bladder, jolt you awake at 2 a.m., and rob you of the deep sleep cycles that fuel testosterone and strong nocturnal erections. I'm Dr. Thomas Carter. For more than 2 decades, I've worked with older men who felt their best days were behind them. And I've watched those same men transform once they learned to work with their bodies instead of against them. Tonight, I want to share with you 5 powerful drinks that can replace that late-night glass of water. These are not pills, they're not gimmicks, they are natural, safe, evidence-backed nighttime rituals that allow your body to repair, recharge, and reignite the erection cycle you thought was gone. And in just a moment, I'll reveal the first drink. Once you understand how it works in your body, you'll never look at your bedtime routine the same way again. Before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss my latest advice on men's health and vitality. And let me hear from you in the comments. If you're ready to bring back strong erections, type yes below. If you're still unsure, type no and tell me what's holding you back. 1. Tart cherry juice. Let's begin with a drink that surprises many of my patients, tart cherry juice. I remember a patient named Michael. He was 68, a retired school principal. Sharp-minded, respected in his community, but in private, he carried a quiet frustration. He told me, "Doc, I keep waking up 2-3 times a night. By morning, I feel drained. And my wife, she's noticed too. I'm just not the man I used to be." His words were heavy. For Michael, it wasn't only about sleep. It wasn't only about erections. It was about identity, about losing a piece of himself that connected to his strength, his pride, his intimacy. When I asked about his routine, he admitted he drank a big glass of cold water every night before bed. He thought it was healthy, but that habit filled his bladder, woke him at 2 in the morning, and stole the very deep sleep cycles his body needed most. So I told him to make a change. Replace that plain water with a small glass of tart cherry juice about an hour before bed. At first he was skeptical. Juice? Really? That's going to make me sleep better and wake up stronger? Yes, and here's why. Tart cherries are one of the richest natural sources of melatonin, the hormone your body uses to regulate sleep. When you drink tart cherry juice in the evening, you give your body a gentle push towards deeper, more restorative rest. And erections depend on that rest. During deep sleep, testosterone is produced at its highest levels. Pulses of blood naturally surge into the penis, creating nocturnal erections. These aren't just about desire. They are a vital maintenance process, keeping your tissue oxygen-rich and strong. But every time Michael woke to urinate, that process was cut short. His testosterone production dropped, his erections weakened. By switching to tart cherry juice, he gained 2 key benefits. First, the melatonin helped him stay asleep longer. Second, cherries are loaded with anthocyanins, antioxidants that reduce inflammation in blood vessels, improving circulation throughout the body, including where he needed it most. Within 10 days, Michael came back to my office with a different look in his eyes. He smiled and said, "Doc, I finally slept through the night, and this morning I felt alive again. I haven't felt this way in years." That's the quiet but powerful effect of tart cherry juice. Not a gimmick, not a pill, just real nutrition that works with your body. And while tart cherry juice is remarkable, it's only the beginning. Because the next drink doesn't just help you sleep, it provides steady fuel for your hormones, your nerves, and your confidence. Let's talk about that one next. 2. Warm oat milk, unsweetened. The second drink is one most men never think about. It's simple, it's comforting, And it's something you can find in any grocery store: warm, unsweetened oat milk. I'll never forget a man named Robert, 67 years old, who walked into my office looking tired and almost ashamed. He said, "Doc, I wake up 2, 3 times a night, and when morning comes, I don't feel like a man anymore. My body just isn't working the way it used to." When I asked about his bedtime routine, he said he often drank a tall glass of water before sleep. He thought it was healthy. But just like Michael, that habit kept interrupting his rest. So I suggested something different: a small cup of warm oat milk, unsweetened, no added sugar, just the natural drink, gently heated. He laughed. "Milk? You're telling me milk is going to help me get my strength back?" "Yes, but not just any milk, oat milk." "Why?" "Because hidden in that cup are two allies older men desperately need. First, tryptophan. Oat milk is rich in this amino acid, which your body converts into serotonin and then into melatonin. The result? Deeper, more restorative sleep. And when your sleep deepens, testosterone rises. And when testosterone rises, erections return stronger and more consistent. Second, vitamin B compounds. Oat milk naturally contains B vitamins that nourish your nervous system, calming stress and allowing your body to enter true rest. And here's one more important detail. Unsweetened oat milk keeps your blood sugar stable through the night. Unlike sweetened drinks or dairy with added sugars, it doesn't spike insulin or cortisol. And when those stress hormones stay quiet, your body is free to focus on repair and hormone balance. Robert gave it a try. Within a week, he noticed he wasn't waking up as often. Within 2 weeks, he returned with a smile I'll never forget. "Doc, I woke up this morning with the hardest erection I've had in years." Gentlemen, that is the quiet power of replacing plain water with oat milk. It's not about gimmicks. It's about giving your body the minerals and compounds it needs to do its job even after 60. 3. Chamomile and lavender tea blend. The third drink works in a different way. It doesn't just help your body, it helps your mind. And if you've ever lain awake at night with your thoughts racing, you know exactly why this matters. A patient named Frank, in his early 70s, told me, "Doc, my mind just won't stop. I lie in bed worrying about bills, about my health, about getting older. Even when I do fall asleep, I wake up restless and disappointed." What Frank didn't realize was that his anxiety wasn't just stealing his peace, it was stealing his erections. You see, when your brain is stuck in worry, your body produces cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol constricts blood vessels, blocks testosterone, and prevents nitric oxide from doing its job. And nitric oxide is the very chemical that allows blood to surge into the penis. Without calm, there can be no strength. That's when I introduced him to something simple yet powerful: a bedtime tea made from chamomile and lavender. At first, he scoffed. "Tea? That's for relaxation, not for men like me." But he was wrong. Chamomile contains apigenin, a compound that binds to calming receptors in your brain, slowing thoughts and quieting the nervous system. Lavender adds linalool, a natural oil that eases anxiety, lowers blood pressure, and soothes the body into deeper rest. When combined, chamomile and lavender send a signal to your body. It's time to let go. Your breathing slows, your shoulders relax, your blood vessels loosen. And as you drift into deeper sleep, your testosterone rises, your blood flows more freely, and those essential nighttime erections return. Frank gave it a try. Days later, He came back with a different tone in his voice. "Doc, I slept longer. I woke up calmer, and for the first time in years, I felt strong again." That's the beauty of chamomile and lavender. They silence the inner noise so your body can do what it was designed to do: restore, repair, and prepare you for the mornings you thought were gone.
4. Magnesium-infused drink. The fourth drink is something most men overlook, even though it's one of the simplest fixes you can make. It's not exotic. It's not hard to find. In fact, you can buy it in nearly every pharmacy or supermarket in America. A warm, magnesium-infused drink. Let me tell you about Henry, a retired firefighter in his mid-60s. On the outside, he still looked strong. Broad shoulders, steady posture, the kind of man who carried himself with dignity. But when he sat down in my office, his voice lowered. "Doc," he said, "I used to be the guy who never had trouble in the bedroom. Now I'm up 3 times a night to use the bathroom, and when I wake up in the morning, nothing is working the way it should. I feel like my body is betraying me." What Henry didn't realize was that his bladder wasn't the only problem. Every time he woke up, his body lost the rhythm of testosterone release and nocturnal erections. Without that deep, unbroken rest, his sexual health was quietly collapsing. So I suggested something simple. Instead of plain water, I asked him to try a small cup of warm water with magnesium powder dissolved in it, about an hour before bed. He raised an eyebrow. "Magnesium? Isn't that for muscles?" "Yes, but not just for your biceps. Magnesium is one of the most important minerals for men over 60. It calms the nervous system, relaxes blood vessels, and even prevents sudden spasms of the bladder that jolt you awake at night. Here's why it matters. Erections depend on smooth muscle relaxation inside your penis. Those tiny muscles need magnesium to do their job. Without it, circulation is blocked, vessels constrict, and erections weaken. With enough magnesium, those muscles relax, blood flows in freely, and firmness returns. Henry gave it a try. Just 4 ounces of warm magnesium-infused water before bed. 1 week later, he called my office, his voice lighter. "Doc, I slept straight through the night for the first time in years, and in the morning, I felt like my old self again." That change wasn't just physical, it was emotional. It was confidence. It was manhood returning. Magnesium doesn't work like a pill. It doesn't force your body into an artificial response. Instead, it restores what time has quietly drained away. It allows you to sleep. It keeps your bladder calm, and it opens the pathways for strong, dependable erections. 5. Collagen peptides in warm herbal tea. The fifth drink is one of the most underrated, yet one of the most powerful. It's not fancy. It doesn't come in a shiny package with promises of instant results, but it works deep inside your body, repairing what years have worn down. Collagen peptides mixed into warm herbal tea. I remember a man named William, a Vietnam veteran in his late 60s. He came into my office carrying the weight of frustration on his shoulders. "Doc," he said quietly, "my body aches, my sleep is broken, and when it comes to intimacy, I can't perform the way I used to. I don't want pills. I just want to feel strong again." What William described was something I've seen in countless men. As we age, collagen in our bodies breaks down. Collagen is the protein that keeps your tissues strong and elastic, your joints, your skin, and yes, even the erectile chambers inside your penis. When those chambers lose elasticity, they can't expand fully. Erections become softer, weaker, less reliable. So I told William to start a new ritual. Each night, about 30 minutes before bed, warm a cup of herbal tea, chamomile, ginger, or peppermint, and stir in a scoop of collagen peptides. Here's why. Collagen peptides are broken down into amino acids your body can use immediately. One of those is glycine. Glycine lowers your core body temperature just enough to help you fall into deep, restorative sleep. That's the very stage where testosterone and growth hormone are released, the twin fuels behind male vitality. But it doesn't stop there. Glycine also stimulates new collagen production, rebuilding connective tissues and restoring elasticity in the penile chambers. That means blood can surge in again, expanding fully, creating erections that feel younger, stronger, more reliable. William tried it. Within a week, he told me his sleep was deeper. By the second week, he began waking with morning erections again. And by the third, his face lit up as he said, "Doc, my wife has told me she hasn't seen me like this in years." That wasn't just about sex. It was about dignity. It was about a man regaining his confidence, his strength, his pride.
Gentlemen, collagen is not hype. It is nourishment. It rebuilds what time has worn down. And when combined with sleep, testosterone, and circulation, it restores the very foundation of male vitality. Now, you've heard about all 5 drinks: tart cherry juice, oat milk, chamomile-lavender tea, magnesium-infused water, and collagen peptides in herbal tea. Each one works in its own way. One calms the nerves, one deepens sleep, one nourishes blood vessels, one restores elasticity. Together, they create a nightly routine that can transform your mornings. So tonight, I challenge you. Don't just pour another glass of water before bed. Choose one of these drinks instead. Give it a week. Watch how your sleep, your mornings, and your confidence begin to change. Gentlemen, age is not the enemy. Neglect is. And now that you know the truth, you have the power to reclaim your strength. If this message resonated with you, tell me in the comments which drink you're going to try first: tart cherry juice, oat milk, chamomile-lavender tea, magnesium water, or collagen peptides in herbal tea. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss my latest tips on natural men's health. Your nights are sacred. Protect them, nourish them, and when you do, your mornings will reward you with the vitality you thought was gone. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your renewal.